We are basically on the eve of the Switch 2 launch. That means all the details are out and people are getting their hands on them this week, which means no more leaks, right? Right? It's Sunday, so let's get sensational. I'm Mike, and I'm back to talk about the gaming news. In fact, this is my last news video before the Switch 2 officially releases, to the general public that is, but apparently some people have gotten their hands on it early. So the first Switch 2 unboxing video has been released before the official release. A YouTube creator named A2 Dubai apparently got their hands on the Switch 2 early and released an 8-second unboxing video. At first there were doubts that it was real, but it quickly got hit with a copyright claim and got pulled down. According to the Kotaku article, someone in the video comments asked why they didn't actually show the Switch 2 starting up and playing games, and A2 Dubai claimed that the system needs a day one firmware update before you can actually play games on it. But while that video leaked, another video from a Russian YouTuber leaked showing the menus for the Switch 2, and it was again quickly pulled down because of copyright claim. So it seems like even at the end of the launch window, Nintendo is having a hard time avoiding leaks. Now in reality, there was nothing major to be learned from these videos. I think the most useful tidbit of information that came out of the whole video leak thing was it's going to have 221 gigabytes of usable storage, but from the sounds of it, you can't even do anything with the system until it receives that day one update. It's also rumored that press isn't getting consoles until the day before launch, so locking the console down with an update until it actually releases makes sense because stores are obviously going to have them early. There was a picture going around of a Target that literally just has them in a cage on the floor already. So obviously people are going to start getting their hands on them before they're supposed to, but either way, people should start getting their hands on them for real on Thursday. And if everything else works out, I should at least have an unboxing video by then, maybe Friday, but either way, stay tuned. But while we're on the topic of the Switch 2, it may not be the only gaming related thing launching this week. Apple may be looking to up their presence in gaming with a new app. So it's rumored that Apple is working on a new gaming app for all of their devices, which will basically be a hub for achievements, leaderboards, and other social features, according to the GameSpot article. The Mac version is rumored to allow games to be added that aren't directly from Apple Store or Apple Arcade. Basically, they're rumored to be making their own game launcher, but along with that, they purchased a game studio, RAC7, who made the game Sneaky Sasquatch. Now, my guess as to why they're doing this is because of the laws coming from the EU, and now the US basically forcing them to open up their app store on iPhone. In the EU, they had to allow alternative app stores on iPhone, and Epic Games has an app store there. So if they want to be able to compete on their own platform, they need to have something better than what they have with Apple Arcade to compete gaming-wise and have a more unified experience for the users. Now, if this is true, it's rumored to launch around the same time as the Switch 2, so we should find out soon, and it would make sense because WWDC is this week, so that would be a good time for them to announce this new app if they are indeed planning to launch it this week. But even though we have new apps and hardware launching, gaming is still on a downtrend as far as revenue, which means we have to talk about layoffs. We had a break for a few weeks, but of course it wasn't going to last too long, so let's start with our returning champion, Electronic Arts. So EA announced that they're shutting down Cliffhanger Games, which they just formed in 2023 to work on a Black Panther game for Marvel. So the game has been canceled, and it's rumored that EA is instead focusing on its own IP, namely Apex Legends, Battlefield, Skate, and The Sims. But even though they said internally that those games are their focus, they assured staff that they're still going to focus on the next Mass Effect, the Iron Man game that they have in development, and the upcoming Star Wars Jedi game. They didn't say how many people were affected by the layoffs, but they did say that they're helping the people find other jobs within EA. Right now, I feel like a lot of these bigger companies like EA, they just have no idea what they're doing. Like, why form a studio less than 2 years ago and then shut them down? Now, I'm not sure how the Black Panther game was coming along, but Marvel properties are still pretty popular, so you would think that they would try to restart the game if it wasn't going well, or at least move the studio to another project. But of course, EA wasn't the only one that had layoffs last week, so British studio Playtonic, best known for making the game Yooka-Laylee, announced that they were laying off staff. They basically said it was due to a failure to get funding, which we've seen other smaller studios struggle to get funding recently as well. They didn't say how many people were being let go, but they assured that everyone that they cut are talented and urged other studios to hire them if they have openings. So it's still not looking great for the gaming industry in general. The bigger studios and publishers that have money are afraid to put out anything they deem as risky and are just cutting jobs, and smaller studios are having problems getting funding because people are afraid to invest in games. Eventually everything will turn around, but we just have no idea when that'll be. Just like we have no idea if or when Microsoft is releasing their first party Xbox Handheld, and that's what we're talking about today. And our final story. So the rumors around the Xbox handheld are a little confusing. So the rumor is that Xbox is doing two handhelds, one made by Asus that leaked recently that's reportedly coming out this year, and that's basically a handheld PC similar to the ROG Ally. And they're also doing a first-party handheld that would be closer to a console like the Switch that's rumored to be releasing around 2027 with their next generation consoles. So the first-party console-like handheld is the one that we're talking about today. It's rumored that it's being put on pause for now. So the rumor is Microsoft is focusing on making Windows 11 better on handhelds instead of working on their own first-party handhelds. According to the Eurogamer article, the Asus handheld is finished hardware-wise, but they run into issues with tuning the version of Windows that they're going to have running on the device, which in some ways is good news because I'm hoping that means that it's not going to just run standard Windows 11 like a lot of the handhelds on the market now, but hopefully a version of Windows 11 that actually runs better on the handheld and does things like, I don't know, lets you put the console to sleep easily and wake it back up when you hit the button. Anyway, the other aspect of this is that Valve is making SteamOS available in more handhelds. SteamOS is already a way better handheld OS than Windows is, and the only real advantage that Windows has is there are games that don't run on Linux due to their anti-cheat software, and of course Microsoft's first-party apps like Game Pass that only run in Windows. So Microsoft is at risk at losing that market to Valve if they don't improve the handheld experience in Windows. Now, it is rumored that they're going to do a first-party handheld eventually, but they're just making Windows their priority for right now. But let me know what you think in the comments. Would you rather see Microsoft focus on their first-party handheld, or do you think that they should improve Windows, which in turn would make a lot of the handheld PCs a lot better? Again, let me know down below. And if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to tell a friend, tell a coworker, like, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell notification button thing wherever it is to be notified when I drop a video or a live stream, and always do at least 2 things at the same time.